Hello everybody, it's Crimson Rosso here again with another one of these unscripted videos. This time we're doing the first impressions video for Trails in the Sky SC. Yeah, if y'all know, I recently wrapped up Trails in the Sky FC, or first chapter, and I made a video on it talking about how I thought it was very good, but it had some problems. And now we have recently started SC, I wanted to do the first impression video on it. And I gotta say, it might have an even stronger start than the first game, and I dig that a lot. It shows they're really willing to go all out for this one. I had always heard a lot of talk that SC was one of the best games in the franchise. Everyone said it was great, that it was one of the best, and that it improved on pretty much everything. And I'm glad to see that so far, it seems to have done that. Now, to be honest, I have only done up to the prologue, like a lot of these first impressions do, so I have a basic understanding of some new stuff, and some bad stuff. There's not a whole lot of bad, so we'll focus on all the new stuff that I like. Now, the combat feels a lot smoother in this game. It feels like they're slowly nailing down the formula they want to reach for this like grid turn-based combat style. And I'm very excited to see how it gets further on with harder bosses. And I gotta say, one of my happiest things to see in this whole thing was the inclusion of chain attacks. I complained that stuff like S-Crafts didn't have dual team-ups and stuff, and while it doesn't seem like that's not going to be the case for a while, as someone who watched my Trails review told me, I am happy that we are getting chain attacks with crafts. That is such an awesome idea, and I'm glad they decided to incorporate it in the sequel. Another thing I noticed is just how much bleaker this feels in comparison to the first Trails prologue. First Trails prologue had you becoming a bracer for the first ever day, had you goofing off with Joshua and Estelle. Everything was just hunky-dory with a few moments of a darker narrative in the back. This time it's completely different. Characters are now way more depressed. It picks up right from where the first game leaves off. So basically Joshua is gone and Estelle just goes through this depression where the man she loves is now gone and has to find him. She has to set herself up to get stronger, so she goes to a training camp in La Roche after being told she's not going to stand a chance against the new main enemies of the series, Ouroboros, and has to get stronger now in order to handle them and possibly bring Joshua home. Also love that Anna Lace is your partner, considering you didn't get a whole lot with her in the first game. She was a character who showed up, she was spunky and fun, but that was about it. It's kind of nice to give her this like personality of like, oh yeah, I like cute things, but I could beat your ass in 10 seconds if I solely felt like it. It's cool. And aside from that, there's not really a whole lot else to talk about. Everything is still pretty much the same. Combat's still very good. Animations are nice. Graphics still look good. It's reusing some stuff, but that doesn't bother me in the slightest. It's a sequel. You can do that. Oh yeah, the game is also a lot harder now. It really feels a lot more challenging. In the first game, there was always like a hint of challenge. You didn't really feel that challenge until like chapter 4 or so. Here in this one, it actually is kind of nice that the game is actively throwing you into difficult fights already. That's also because this game will carry over save data from the first one, as I've come to realize, so now you're starting out at like level 35. But aside from that, it's good to see the game is immediately hitting you with some tough stuff off the bat. But it's not so brutal, it feels like you can never get past it. It genuinely feels like, okay, we know you played the first game, you should be able to handle this pretty easily if you know what you're doing. Yeah, aside from that, I don't have a lot of negatives to say. I wasn't really a huge fan of that one section at the very start where it was like, oh, you lost your weapons, you gotta go through the place to get them. I thought that was stupid, and honestly very glad that they didn't make you do that for very long. You got your items and stuff back real fast. It was just such a stupid thing to add in, I'll be honest. And I'm kind of glad they didn't make it go longer for like 2 minutes. I probably would have been very annoyed if they did. Other than that, I don't really have many complaints. I'm glad the prologue was a lot shorter than the first game. I'm glad it felt so different from the first game. I'm glad it treated me like I knew what I was doing and didn't make me sit through all of the tutorials again, other than just the one I needed to know. And honestly, I'm excited to see what the next couple of chapters bring me. There's nothing inherently bad I have to say. I just have all positives right now, outside of a few nitpicks. And I don't really want to hyper-focus on nitpicks at the slightest. I've always thought that was kind of dumb for some people to do that. Outside of all of this, I'm very excited to finish the full game on stream. I'll probably have to pause it for Final Fantasy XVI, but I'll try to get through as much as I can. If you ever want to follow that, it's over on Twitch at Crimson Next Stage. We're actually continuing with Chapter 1 tonight. So maybe I'll see you there, and this has been my first impressions video. Just an honestly strong start with little to no complaints. Here's hoping the rest of the game can wrap up like that. I hope you all have a lovely day, and I'll see you next time. And if you ever want to chat to me outside of YouTube comments, I have a Twitter account and a Twitch account that I have both linked to the page. Good night, good day, good afternoon, wherever it is you guys are, and I'll see you for the next video.